Hey gang, I'm Luke and welcome to Down from the Attic. Adventure themed games are some of my favourite games to play. An adventure themed game, I'm all over it. And today, we're looking at a vintage one. This is Treasure of the Pharaohs from Palatoy. Let's take a look at this thing. First off, box art, and this is a really nice painting of Tutankhamun. Some nice pictures of the game's traps, and obviously for a vintage game, smiling kids. Can't have a game box without smiling kids. This game is from 1975, and this was released at the height of the Treasures of Tutankhamun exhibit that was touring the world. The interest in ancient Egypt, pyramids, sphinxes and mummies was really high, and the idea of a tomb full of traps capturing would-be explorers? Well, the game practically makes itself. Contents, and this is particularly nice, and something not seen so often with vintage games. A tray. Yeah, a tray that fits all the components in nice and snugly, so they're not rattling around the box. Very much appreciated. There's the board, which has gorgeous hand-painted art to it, 2 cardboard pyramids with similarly gorgeous art, the tomb, 4 tomb covers, this stone bridge with the loose slab, 6 adventure figures, a dice, 3 scrolls, this archway with the stone door, this spinner piece, a golden death mask, 2 sarcophaguses, 4 clips, and this spinner with 2 Anubis heads on it. Set up. Pull out the board and fit the 4 clips under the board. These will be used for holding the pyramid in place. Slide the stone gate under the pyramid here, and add the spinner and its peg onto this piece here. Place the black tomb piece on the hole in the middle of the board, and then slot and clip the pyramid over it. This plastic cube here slots down on top of the pyramid to hold everything in place. Thread the Anubis spinner down the hole in the top and it will slot into the tomb. With the pyramid on the board, fit the stone door on the archway at the bottom. Next, slot the steps over the board here, the bridge slots here, and rest a loose stone in place. These 2 mummies clip in near the spinner. Drop 3 skulls into 3 bins in the tomb and the death mask in the 4th. Add the tomb covers, give the Anubis spinner a spin to mix it all up, and we're done. Presentation, I mean, look at it. This is a real eye catcher. Remembering the age of this thing, even more so. This game is 46 years old, and it's a really gorgeous looking 3D game. The whole board has this watercolour and pen ink artwork to it, and you know someone has laboured over this. The pyramid is decorated with hieroglyphics and artwork. The board has desert areas and clearly designated colours for each tomb area. The tomb doors, the Anubis spinner, the sarcophagus and the death mask all have this metallic wash on them that wasn't needed, but damn, it makes this look really nice and old and aged. The figure pieces, they're like this cartoony, atypical explorer, and as nice as they are, compared to the rest of the pieces, they seem a bit more cartoony than what they should be. A minor complaint, sure, but I'm in no way taking away from the look of this game. It looks fantastic. In the game, you'll be battling against your fellow explorers and the tricks and traps of the pyramid to journey through the chambers to get to the Pharaoh's tomb. Make it to the tomb and you could be lucky to find the treasure of the Pharaohs. But find a cursed scroll and you're doomed. Will you be lucky? Pick a colour and everyone starts in the desert. Nice that everyone has a starting position here. This is a roll and move, so roll the dice and move along the path. From the very start, there's a number of spaces that will send you down different routes depending on what you roll. Get used to that, there's a fair amount of luck in this game. There's a number of spaces in this game that can really help or hinder you as you travel along, such as missing turns, being sent further ahead or back around the board. This all depends on what you roll and where you land. This is an old school game, remember, so you have to cut it a little slack here. So, make it through the desert and you make it to the first challenge, the outer chamber. This loop on the board has 2 out squares, and you need to land on either one of these by exact move to move on your next turn out of the outer chamber. One exit leads to a shorter route, but once again, this is all down to luck and what you roll. Make it past the Queen's chamber, and you're up to the second challenge, the Great Stone of Cheops. You need to raise the stone up to the top before you can pass through the archway. Roll the dice, and whatever you roll, you move it up by that many notches. However, if an opponent rolls a 6, that stone slab can come slamming down and block the route, and this is at the expense of that player moving 6. Yes, there's some competitive play to this and opportunities to be a complete jerk. Raise the block up and you're into the second chamber. Roll lucky and you can find a secret tunnel or a crack in the wall. But rockfalls may hinder you. Follow the path and you reach challenge 3, the narrow stone steps. And here's another prime chance to be a complete arse to your opponents in this game. Only one person can be on the steps at a time, and if someone else joins, the other player gets knocked into the pit and has to start all over again. Successfully navigate the stone steps and you're into the third chamber, and the most irritating, because of the spiral maze. You can get lucky with the spiral maze and land on the ladder and move out of it entirely, or jump up a ring, but more than likely you'll make a slow journey around the spiral and you'll be more than happy to get out of there. This leads to the snake bridge, and you better hope you don't fall through that bridge, because if you do, you miss 3 turns unless you can throw a 6. I mean, that is harsh. After the bridge, follow the path along until you get to the sarcophaguses. We're getting close, folks. You need to land on one of the squares in front of either of them, and you can be running around in circles for quite a while waiting for this to happen. When you land on one of the squares for the mummies, another player spins the wheel of Anubis behind the sarcophaguses. The player then lifts the sarcophagus, and if the way is clear, they move on through. If not, well, you're going back around that loop again, and better luck next time. You're in the inner chamber, the final challenge. You make your way to the tomb, and you lift the lid for the corner nearest to you. This is it. You've travelled far, battled many challenges. This is it. You lift off the lid, and this can go one of 2 ways. You could be really lucky and find the death mask and win the game, but you could find one of the cursed scrolls, and this sends you all the way back to the Queen's chamber in the first quarter of the pyramid. Yep, I'm not joking. The scroll is then placed back into the tomb, and the Anubis spinner is spun, once again mixing up the location of the death mask. So thinking you know that corner is the wrong one? Nope, you have no idea where it is all over again. The Saint Bat player can investigate the tomb again, but they'll need to pass the Stone of Cheops again. However, this blue path here, they can walk up this route to check the tomb. And if they fail again, he goes to the narrow stone steps where, after the path, there's another green path to check again. And if you fail there, well, after the Snake Pit Bridge, there's a red path to the tomb again. But each failure, the tomb is spun, mixing it all up again. And failing this time, no more second chances, you're out of the game. Yeah, I'm not kidding, you're out. How incredibly cruel this is. You go around the pyramid twice, going through all the traps twice, and to be told, "Oh, sorry, you failed." This mechanism I'm in 2 minds about. It's not about who can get to the tomb first, but who can find the mask first. It still gives those players at the back a fighting chance, but spinning the tomb randomises it, so it makes it intensely difficult for all players. It also conceivably makes it so everyone loses, however. I've never played a game where that's happened though. So first player to find the death mask wins the game. And that is Treasure of the Pharaohs. Final thoughts? Treasure of the Pharaohs is a really lovely looking game, and considering its age, for a 3D board game, this has got some really clever mechanics to it, like the Stone of Cheops and the tombs fitting in the middle of the board. This is a roll and move game, and there is a heavy amount of luck to this game. You're in the luck of the dice for most of the game, and there's very little in the way of choice. You can't opt to take different paths, you're sent down them without a question. However, this is a 6-player game from the 70s, a 3D one with traps and 3D board. The more people you play with, the better this game gets. This game is not cheap to find, however. For some reason, this game regularly goes for £150 upwards, and honestly, I think that's an absurd price. Yes, it's an old game, it's an example of a 3D game from the 1970s, and there's a lot of pieces to it that could have got lost over the years, but it's nowhere near worth that price. Games like A Mega Virus, games like Forbidden Bridge, Tornado Rex, Mold Madness, yeah, those games are absolutely worth the price you pay for them because they are excellent games. I got my copy of Treasure of the Pharaohs for £40, and I think that's a fair price, because this game, although it's rare and it's old, it doesn't quite live up to those standards of those really rare, really excellent games. It's a fun game, don't get me wrong, it really is, and it looks beautiful, but this is a simple roll and move game, and there's a heavy amount of luck to it. If you're interested in 3D board games, and if you're interested in roll and move games, this one might be for you, but it'll be in the gods if you win at it or not. Well, as always, I'm Luke, thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. If you like what I'm doing here on Down from the Attic, please consider subscribing, comments are always welcome, and I'll see you in the next video.